My name is Alhaji Ezekiel Musa. I'm the leader, Coalition of FCT Indigenes Group, one of the leaders anyway. We have a coordinator and all that. Now, we're here very simple to make a very clear statement about our situation and about our issue, pathetic issue here in FCT as indigenous and original inhabitant of this place. It's not in any contestation to say that there are no indigenes of FCT. FCT, after all, was created in 1979, and there are people here existing for the past 500 years. So how do you then say there is nobody here? And if there is nobody here, how are you making the effort to now say you want to resettle them, or you want to move them from where they are? So clearly, that one is not in dispute. But what we have found ourselves now, in a situation where we've been battling with other in court, super Nigerians, who think they are more important than us, that will come and they want to say, leave your house, I have been given allocation here. Enough of that, we're trying to even grappling with, and we report to security personnel and other government institutions. The situation we have found ourselves now is worse than it has ever happened, because now it's the business of Nigerian Army coming to kill our people in Edo Sariki, in Tungan Samu, in Tungan Kwaso, in Giri, in Nanagada, in Tungan Maje, in Zuba, all of that places to move people by force, destroying their houses, destroying their farm produce, killing and brutalizing them, just to take over the land by force. We don't seem to understand. Nigerian Army that is supposed to protect the territorial integrity of this nation and to protect the lives and property of the citizenry, are the people busy destroying, killing, even extrajudicial killing is going on daily on that land, just to pursue people by force, occupy the land. And what are they doing? Building cattle ranch, abattoir, international cattle market, and all sorts of nonsense that they think is more important than the human being, the lives they are supposed to protect. When the Nigerian government is supposed to take care of the people of FCT, to even look at them and then give them food and see to their livelihood, it is Nigerian government now that is turning its back against them, destroying them and pursuing them as though they are refugees in their own land. Even refugees have their own rights of international treaties, that they will be treated fairly and with human dignity. But this is somebody who is in his own land, and this kind of thing, treatment is meted to us. So instead of taking arms, ambush Nigerian Army, look for where to retaliate, we say no, let's use the legal means. And that's why we are here in the National Assembly. We have been here several times. And finally, a public hearing, investigative public hearing has been scheduled for today, where Army and everybody will be on deck, on table, and then we'll see how best to resolve this matter. But first thing is very clear. Nigerian Army does not have a title document of that land. After all, FCT have over times, in so many fora that they have called us for a meeting, have over time said they have never allocated that land to Nigerian Army. And so clearly, this is illegality taken too far. This is impunity of the highest order and insensitivity in the part of Nigerian government. And so all we are here for is let them see how best to tell them to vacate that land. Hence, they don't even have a title document, and what are they doing there? After all, there are so many land use acts. There are modalities on how to acquire land, because the land use acts have made it that FCT natives are the original first allottee. And if for any reason that land will be taken away, there are modalities. There are things to do, compensation and all that. Nobody has spoken to us from Nigerian Army. All they know how to do, because they have guns and they have power, is to chase everybody and kill them away. So that's the situation we find ourselves.
The person is the one that paid the compensation is here. Brutal infringement, violation, and abuse with impunity of the fundamental rights of original inhabitants of the land. With regards to the allegation of brutal infringement, violation, and abuse of the fundamental rights of the original indigenes of the land made by the coalition against the Nigerian Army, it is respectfully observed that the coalition only succeeded in quoting some sections of the Federal Constitution on the protection of human rights, as well as the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, but failed to substantiate on how the Nigerian Army brutally infringed on those rights. Furthermore, the allegation that the Nigerian Army was invited to a meeting by the National Human Rights Commission but defied the invitation by refusing to show up is equally not true. Considering the subject matter and its great importance, such an invitation would have been directed to the Chief of Logistics for action, but this did not happen because it was not received. The Nigerian Army holds the National Human Rights Commission in very high esteem and consciously maintained an excellent working relationship with them. In fact, when Amnesty International and so on start accusing us, they are the ones who normally stand in for us. So we have a very good working relationship with them. She will therefore not ignore any invitation from that noble commission, as alleged by the coalition. According to the coalition, the first pathetic ground of the petition is that on the 9th of April 2019, there was a gruesome extrajudicial killing of one Hamza Usman, a native of Tunga Maje, FCT, and infliction of serious degrees of injury upon 28 others by the Nigerian Army, consequent upon the forceful acquisition of land. The Nigerian Army's response to this allegation is as follows. 1. Unlike the previous 3 allegations that were completely spurious and inconceivable, the allegation of the gruesome extrajudicial killing of one Hamza Usman and the injury of 28 others by our troops is deliberately saturated with several twists and misrepresentation of the facts that happened on the ground. Incident of 9th April 2019, there were at least 5 different occasions on several days when our developer mobilized to the site where 2 number 30 family corporal and below quarters are being constructed for some of the personnel who are yet to be accommodated. On each of these occasions, Zubayus protested in the same way they did on the 9th April 2019. 3. During each of the previous 5 cases, there was absolutely no altercation between our troops and the Zubayus. This was the case because while our troops are usually deployed to provide site security, which are at the site which is 200 meters away from the road, the Zubayus are usually preoccupied with blocking the road itself and causing pandemonium in order to whip up sentiments in the whole of Abuja to further project their hidden agenda. Hence, no case of gruesome killing was reported in those previous 5 cases. The question then is, what happened on the 9th April? The truth, which the coalition has refused to tell, is that on 9th April, our developer mobilized to site to continue the project after a break of 1 month at the instance of the Honorable Minister of FCT, and our troops provided site security. So let me inform this Honorable Committee that each of those 5 cases, our troops withdrew because FCT Minister will call the Chief of Army Staff and say, please, give me time, let me talk to these boys. Let me talk to these boys, give me time, let your men withdraw. The permanent secretary is here. In some of those calls were made by him directly to the Chief of Army Staff. And we withdrew in each of those 5 cases. We withdrew, we told our developer, go back, so that peace will reign. The last one, on the 5th case, the minister requested the Chief of Army Staff, and the Chief of Army Staff called me and said, for 1 month, there should be no development. For 1 month, no development. Let's give the FCT minister time to talk to pacify those men. Because it's our land. So, after 1 month, the developer moved to site. The truth, which, as usual, Zubayut, while our developer moved to site 200 meters away from the road, Zubayut, as usual, moved to and blocked the Zuba-Gogolada road, thereby causing a very serious traffic jam that lasted almost the whole day. In the process of the pandemonium caused by them, one of them was shot by someone dressed in military uniform, who was trying to pass through the trying to pass through the youth blockade. I was monitoring the situation. I even heard that some policemen came, they were trying to pass, they tear gas them. I had all those. Yes, I had all those. So, this is what happened. Now, it is pertinent to note that the Nigerian Army investigated the circumstances surrounding the unfortunate incident of 9th April 2019. This is very important. According to an eyewitness account from one of the policemen deployed at the Zuba police station, a military convoy heading to an unknown destination arrived at the scene, and in the process of trying to wade through the traffic, they were confronted by the Zuba youth who started throwing stones at them. It was in this process that one of them released a shot that eventually killed the said Hamza Usman. The false account of this unfortunate incident made by that coalition of FCT Indigenous Association to the effect that, I quote, "This gentleman was shot dead and 28 others injured on the 9th April 2019 when the army sprayed live bullets sporadically and indiscriminately at the armless members of Tungamaje with a view to scare and disperse them from their farmlands to further enable them continue their inhuman activities through destruction of farm crops and produce in their bid to clear the self-allocated land for development," unquote. These are things Nigerian Army will never do. So this allegation is equally a calculated attempt to denigrate the good image of the Nigerian Army with a view to furthering the clandestine agenda of their sponsors. They are being sponsored. That is our own view. It is pertinent to put on record that during our investigation of the said incident, the Nigerian Army went to the extent of counting the ammunition issued to each of the soldiers deployed at the project site, and to examine each soldier's weapon to ascertain whether or not any of them released a shot. And the person who carried out this investigation is the garrison commander, Army Headquarters, Major General Miam. He is here with me. At the end of the investigation, we were satisfied that the shot was indeed not fired by any of them, as the ammunition issued to them were all found to be intact. Even if you go down to count, they are intact. We don't do a thing like going to replace ammunition for any soldier. Nigerian Army does not do that. And sir, let me also inform you that the garrison commander did not stop his investigation there. He was informed that the Commissioner of Police FCT has the ID card. We can trace the soldier anywhere. The FCT police commissioner refused to give him. Instead, he wrote to him to release the soldier. And he asked him, which soldier do I release? I don't know who you are talking about. Who the letters we are talking about? He wrote to him, he just responded, the letters are with us here. So today, he has not released that ID card for us to be able to trace that soldier. And we believe that he is not a soldier. It could be headsman or anybody. It is worthy to note at this juncture that with the current proliferation in the use of military uniform by various criminal elements, namely headsmen, bandits, terrorists, and even armed robbers, all these categories of people are using arms. Even militants in the Niger Delta, they are using arms, and they are using military uniform, they are using police uniform, they are using customs uniform, they are using all sorts of uniforms to perpetrate their atrocities. I was GOC in Lagos, and I arrested this group of people. I arrested even people moving in military uniform with convoy with sirens, sir. It was published. Before putting this issue to rest, it's good I read the last sentence. I said, it is worthy to note at this juncture that with the current proliferation, one cannot say categorically whether the perpetrator of the 9th April killing of Hamza Usman was indeed a soldier or not. However, it would be necessary to warn Zuba youth to avoid hurling pebbles at armed persons, whether such persons are soldiers, herdsmen, armed bandits, armed robbers, they wouldn't even know. As such provocations could have dire consequences from the armed individual. You will see a convoy, you think it's military people. They are criminals, they are thieves. They are people kidnapping people along this Kaduna road, and you think they are soldiers. Before putting this issue to rest, it is necessary to put on record that several opportunities availed themselves towards a possible aversion of the unfortunate incident of 9th April. And indeed, the continuous unwarranted protest by Zuba youth on the ground that the Nigerian Army was never allocated the land she is laying claim to. According to the coalition, I'm not saying they should not be compensated. We are not saying that at all. So, but in spite of that, let me go now fast track to the 7D, that since the people are now on the land, the need for them to be compensated by the federal government is not controverted by the Nigerian Army. As stated in the allocation letter of the Giri land, it is the responsibility of the FCDA to compute and forward the amount payable as compensation to the local farmers, to the federal government for settlement on behalf of the armed forces of Nigeria. However, it is strongly advisable that this distinguished committee should first of all investigate whether or not the original owners of the land have already been paid compensation and are fraudulently trying to get paid for the second time, which should be viewed seriously. Did the federal government of Nigeria truly acquire lands from indigenous communities to form the present FCT? If this is yes, did the federal government of Nigeria pay compensation to the indigenes whose lands were acquired at the time of acquisition to form the FCT? If the answer is no, is it the Nigerian Army that should pay compensation for lands acquired by the federal government to form the FCT? If the answer is yes, is the portion of land in question whose allocation to the Nigerian Army for the three services of the armed forces as already proved now that it was truly allocated, was that part of land, that is Giri land, was it part of the land acquired by the federal government for which compensation has been paid? And if it is yes, what is the justification for the claim by Emir of Zuba, members of the coalition of FCT Indigenous associations, and indeed anyone for that matter, that they were neither compensated nor relocated? As being posited by the Emir of Zuba, is it true that at the time of acquisition of the land by the federal government to create the FCT, all other communities were compensated except Zuba? Except Zuba Emirate? Is it true? If the armed forces land at Giri, Airport Road, and environs were not compensated for by the federal government at the time of acquisition, and is now to be compensated for by the FCT and the federal government, should violent protests, pandemonium, blockade of Zuba Gogolada Road, and vilification of the Nigerian Army by the so-called coalition be the objective way forward? Is that how they will get the compensation? Should the efforts of the Chief of Army Staff and other service chiefs at developing critically required accommodation at their portions of the said armed forces land at Giri and environs be disrupted before compensation is paid by the federal government? Foregoing, the committee is respectfully requested to, 1, discountenance the report that the Nigerian Army has no allocation in respect of the MOD land at Giri, Airport Road. The question of invasion is not there because we have proven that the land belongs to us. B, caution the Honorable Minister of FCTA, or cause the Honorable Minister of FCT to assist the Nigerian Army in hastening the process of yes, apologies. Cause the Honorable Minister to assist the Nigerian Army in hastening the process of computing the compensation due to the local communities currently settling on the armed forces land at Giri and all other lands within the FCT towards expeditious settlement by the federal government, because it is the responsibility of the federal government to acquire lands to form the FCT, and they did so. If they didn't compensate Zuba, then the letter of allocation even states that it is the responsibility of the FCT to compute the compensation due to the farmers for settlement by the federal government. Nigerian Army is a baby of the federal government. C, cause the Honorable Minister to, in conjunction with the Honorable Minister of Defense, assist the Nigerian Army in the recertification and expeditious gazetting of the armed forces lands at Giri along the airport road. There is no need for C of O. The land only needs to be gazetted. D, cause the Honorable Minister of FCTA to assist the Nigerian Army in the recertification and issuance of C of O in respect of all other Nigerian Army lands within the FCT. Cause the Honorable Minister of FCT to assist the Nigerian Army in enlightening the Emir of Zuba and his subjects that compensation will be paid to them by the federal government upon computation by the FCDA of the amount payable to them. And indeed, armed forces of Nigeria's effort at developing their allocated portions of land at Giri and environs, so as to facilitate an expeditious construction of their permanent cantonment within the said lands as stipulated in the letter of allocation. We have developed our development plan of our Giri land, and all those formations in the unit that we left there since for the past 30 years, they all have their allocated places there. But we can't develop them, those places. Apart from funding issue, the people continue to protest for no reason. Direct the Honorable Minister of FCT to set up a commission of inquiry to thoroughly investigate the disappearance of FCDA file reference number FG2375, which contains the allocation letter of the Giri land, as well as several other documents relating to it. They should investigate. People deliberately remove all the documents. So it should be investigated. Why will Director of Land say that Nigerian Army was never allocated the land, that there is no document at the disposal of the FCDA to show that Nigerian Army was allocated the land? And truly, the file is not there, no document is there, but most of the documents that are enclosures to this brief originated from the FCDA itself. The letter of allocation was from FCDA itself. Why is it missing? This should be probed, and the people responsible for removing this document should be punished, because this is criminal. Direct the Honorable Minister of FCTA to ensure that all those found culpable, I've already said this, of the removal and possible destruction of important to the armed forces of Nigeria to be missing. Join the House of Representatives to support the armed forces of Nigeria's efforts at treating the issue of acute shortage of accommodation for their officers and soldiers in the FCT as a matter of urgency. We already had that directive, which I have referred to in this brief, that the Chief of Army Staff should declare state of emergency on accommodation issue in the FCT. L, support the Nigerian Army's effort at the expeditious development of the Muhammadu Buhari cantonment, Giri. Distinguished chairman of this committee, representative of the Senate President, other distinguished members of this honorable committee, thank you very much for this opportunity, the honor of that land at Giri. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
My name is Sir Chinyaka Oha, Pamsek, Federal Capital Territory. Do solemnly swear
that the evidence I shall give
shall be the
truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God. His Excellency, the chairman of this investigative panel, Senator Abubakar Kairi, distinguished senators here present, representative of service chiefs, representative of Inspector General of Police, and that of DSS, the royal fathers here present, the area council chairman here present, the Abuja natives here present, gentlemen of the press, distinguished minister of FCTA, Madam Mohammed Musa Bello, and FCTA Administration, to make our own submissions. I have the honor to refer to the letter reference NASS 8SR/03 volume 1 1363 and dated 23rd April 2019 by the Chairman Senate Committee on Defense Ad Hoc Committee to investigate the invasion of Federal Capital Territory indigenous land around Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by the Nigerian Army. Adjoining Kaduna Lokoja Road, Federal Highway A2, along the Greece River axis on the other side. See Appendix 1 as attached. The committee may wish to be informed of the lingering issue between the FCT Administration, indigenous communities, and Nigerian military regarding the contending issues over the ownership of the land at Gray along the airport road that prompted the Honorable Minister FCTA to communicate Mr. President. This led to the constitution of Presidential Committee chaired by the Chief of Staff to the President to resolve all the issues associated with military lands in the FCT. Membership of the committee include the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Honorable Minister of FCT, National Security Advisor, Chief of Defense Staff, Director General DSS, the Emir of Agoro, and that of Zuba and Jiwa. During the inaugural meeting of the committee, members unanimously agreed that military should suspend all activities pending the outcome of the committee's report. I want it to be noted here. The Senate Committee may wish to kindly refer to the legal and basic requirements for planning, allocation, development and management of land in FCT as provided under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as FCTA Act 1976. Legal and basic requirements for planning, allocation, and development of the FCT. The Federal Capital Territory, FCT, occupies a land area of 8,000 square kilometers and is covered by a master plan with specific provision guiding development of every parcel of land within the territory. The entire 8,000 square kilometer land of the Federal Capital Territory by virtue of FCT Act 1976 is thus declared a planning area. Provision under FCT Act 1976. In line with the provision of the FCT Act 1976, subsection 3, which provide that, and I quote, the area contained in the Capital Territory shall, as from the commencement of this Act, cease to be a portion of the states concerned, and shall henceforth be governed and administered by or under the control or government of federation to the exclusion of any other person or authority whatsoever, and the ownership of the land comprised in the Federal Capital Territory shall likewise vest absolutely in the government of the Federation. Section 18. Delegation of function to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory. Delegation of functions to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory provide that as from 28 May 1984, the President of the Federal Republic of this great country has delegated to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory the following function. That is to say, any function or power conferred on the Chairman of Federal Capital Development Authority under this Act. Any executive power of the federal government vested in the President pursuant to Section 263A or any other section of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and accessible within the Federal Capital Territory or military governor of a state. D. The one of the public officers, special provision that ownership of land in FCT by any entity, individual, corporate, or government is through having title to the subject land. That is part of the vital prerequisites and requirement for granting approval, development permit for any development in FCT. Is the presentation of title document as evidence of ownership to the land. Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Law, 1992. Section 29 states that any existing law exempting government and its agencies involved in development of land from obtaining approval of the relevant control department is hereby repealed in such manner, using such forms, and providing such information, including planning, designs, drawings, and other information as may be prescribed by regulation made pursuant to this section. Section 30, subsection 2, stipulates that no development shall commence by any government or its agencies without obtaining an approval from the relevant development control department. The FCT 2004 land reform approved by the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, apart from ensuring the certification and regularization of land title in FCT, was also to standardize land records in FCT. Status of the land in contention, grey land. Abuja International Airport Development. I want to make it because the Army have been doing a wonderful job for us. And in Abuja Master Plan, we made provision for every sector of the Nigerian system. Abuja International Airport Development Plan Program. The Abuja Master Plan provides for the development of international airport in phases in line with the growth of the city and increase in air traffic services and passengers' demand. The first phase of the development witnessed the partial completion of some components of the main terminal building, parking, cargo shed, hangar, and other standard facilities. The airport is currently operating with only one runway and parallel taxiway. Future expansion will entail the completion of the other components of the international airport involving in outstanding terminal buildings, Aerotropolis project in line with Abuja Master Plan. See Annexure 3. Provision for outstanding engineering infrastructure master plan and regional development. The master plan later conveyance of approval of grant of land in FCT supplied by Nigerian Army is not dated and does not carry such vital particulars as plot number, size, and cadastral zone. Rather, the institution has parcel of land outside the Gogolada master plan which do not depict the degree location being claimed by the military and therefore considered vague. See Appendix. If the Nigerian Army forces had any document on the said land, they should have taken advantage with the advent of FCTA 2004 land reform, which enabled any title holder within FCT to submit same for verification, classification, and issuance of new certificate of occupancy and or gazetting. Incidentally, from available record in AG database, no submission was made by the Nigerian Armed Forces over the claimed land at the Airport Road. Issuance and conveyance of development permit in FCT. In line with the provisions of FCT Act 7, subsection 1 and section 30, subsection 1 and 2 of Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Law, the FCT is the only statutory body responsible for issuance of development permit to every prospective developer with valid title documents. The claim of trespassers over the land by the Nigerian Army does not have any effect, as there was no approval given to them whatsoever for any form of development. The Nigerian Armed Forces claim to have conducted survey through private surveyor in 1981 and was due supervised by the Nigerian Army Regiment Survey. This is in contravention to the Eastern Survey rules and regulations and established practices in FCTA, in which an instruction to survey I to S must first be sought and issued by Federal Capital Development Authority. The data generated from the independent survey by the Nigerian Armed Forces cannot be processed in FCTA cadastral database whatsoever. The Nigerian Armed Forces equally claim to have been issued beacon number by FCDA. This is strange.